So the entire thing with PlayStation basically saying they are getting rid of discs and all that honestly kind of made me think about some other stuff with this on the entire digital only format that they are going in. To be honest, guys, I really do think this is not going to be a good thing. And I want to explain why that is, because a lot of people might be like, well, you know what, man? Well, a lot of people haven't really been buying disc games anyway. Most people buy their games on the PlayStation, or at least, digitally, which in ways is honestly not all that wrong. I mean, a lot of people probably go on there because you don't have to go out and get a disc. You could play the games instantly. You download them. I do understand that, but having digital only games though really might end up being a bigger problem than we think. For one, and the first part I want to talk about with this is games literally will disappear forever. We all do know games already get delisted, guys, okay? Digital storefronts close. We all do know the license for games expire, or the music that's in the games. They pretty much have to delist the games, and then new players basically have no way to actually play them. Having a physical copy of those games at least gives people a way to actually play them. A few examples of this, if you might have been wondering, well, let's talk about Forza. We all do know all the old Forza Horizon games are not on the Xbox. You cannot get them, right? Forza Horizon 1, 2, 3, and 4, you cannot buy any of them on the Xbox. They're all delisted. So if all of those games are delisted, there is literally no way to actually get them because they had to delist them because, again, licenses or other things, the games can only stay up for so long. Another reason why you also can't get any of the DLCs for them because they simply are not available. But the games themselves are not available either. It was kind of insane because I always wanted to go back and play all of them, right? Wanted to experience older games. Having a physical copy of those games gives you a reason, or at least a way, to go and play those games if you might have missed them, or maybe you never got to experience them. That is a way to do it. Now, the issue with this, though, is think about this for a minute, guys. All the other games coming out in the future will only be on the store, so eventually those games will get turned off. I mean, it's something you really cannot get away from nowadays. Again, the licensing, all that stuff with certain games, racing games are very prone to this because of music and different things, or card licenses. They only have so long that they can keep the games up, right? So they pretty much have to take them down. I know Project Cars, even the Dirt series, for example. Bro, Dirt 4 ain't even on the PlayStation anymore, okay? I did make some videos on it. I started playing it as I bought the game a long time ago on the PlayStation. I've also been searching for a disc for it for this exact reason, but I did end up getting it on the PlayStation a long time ago. I'm like, alright, dope. I can play this. Someone was like, dude, I was looking for this game after watching your video, and I can't find it. I went on and looked, guys, and the game is not even on the store anymore. It was fully taken down from the store. So that means if you ever wanted to play Dirt 4, you literally can't unless you have a disc. Now imagine in the future when other games end up launching, and let's say they end up getting taken down, or maybe they're older one day and you wanted to play them in the future. You literally will not be able to. It's honestly a pretty big issue. I mean, if you wanted to play the old Forzas, there is literally no way to do it if there is never a disc for them. You literally can't play them on the Xbox. Now, could you probably go on the PC and, somehow, some way get the game? Sure. But if you're on the console, if you don't have a disc, there is no way to do that. And the other part of this, though, is history is going to end up being harder to preserve with this, guys, okay? Future players will not be able to experience certain games, as I just mentioned, as previous generations could because you had discs and all that. Again, racing games really are vulnerable to this, man. I think about this a lot, and this has been on my mind, as a lot of players might want to play old racing games, but if you can't get a disc copy of them, there is literally no way to do it. And there is a lot of games that will fall into this because of licensing and different things. And I feel like when people notice it, it is probably going to get super frustrating. But what's crazy, though, is collectors and all that is also probably going to be more expensive. I could see this market going insane because physical releases are going to be rare. So certain games might end up coming out that could have a demand, or older games might have a demand because people want to get them. Those could end up shooting up. Remaining copies of games could also end up increasing in value if there is no more discs anywhere for them. And if they're all pretty much going away for most games, then this is probably going to be something that could end up happening. Now, will it? All really depends on the supply and demand of games, but honestly, I could really see something like this happening, with some stuff mildly shooting up into the air when it comes to price. I mean, heck, we're already seeing consoles doing that a little bit, so a game that you really can't buy anywhere, could also end up happening, guys. Quick example, some super rare PS2 games are $200 to $300 online if you want to get them. If the discs are completely not made anymore and you pretty much can't even put them in a new console, you pretty much have to buy a new console, I could see the discs going up. I really could see that. The other part of this that I really thought about is a lot of the retailers everywhere. We all do know a lot of stores have used game sections and different things. And what's really cool though is there's a few stores where I even live that I went and checked out, which is where I got a lot of my old PS3, PS2, and Xbox games from, because I did end up stumbling upon some older title. I'm like, wait, Pure, what is this? What is this? I want to play this game. Never had a chance. Or, ooh, Driver San Francisco. Let me go drive and get this game because that store has it. Let me head over there and grab it. And the issue with this, though, is if you do not have any of these games pretty much being sold anymore because, again, the all digital future, a lot of people really can't discover these older games or stumble upon one of them and play them because the retailers can't sell something that is basically a code that's probably a one-time use. And with me going to some of these stores and checking out if they have some used games I might have been looking for or even wanted to try out, you could stumble across some really cool old titles that you can at least grab the disc, put it in your console, and play it. It's kind of interesting thinking about that, guys, because the overall discovery of some of these old games is pretty much going to be lost in the future if every game is on the console, and then when all of them are on the console, they could literally disappear, bro. It's kind of wild. But y'all know what, though? Publishers can also end up getting more control from this as well, which is something I also thought about. They can also pretty much decide when the game is available for purchase, and they can also decide when to take the game down or even remake the game. And if they end up doing that, there may really be no way to obtain the game if they decide one day to, oh, well, we are delisting Dirt 4. Okay, you can never play this game again unless you find a disc for it. Pure on the Xbox was also part of this. It's on the store, but you have to have a disc to play it. Some of the other games in this can also be Forza Horizon. You can look at the games on the store, you can see them, but you cannot play them unless you have a disc, because they were delisted. So if you wanted to play a game or something and the publishers are like, you know what, nope. And this can also go for, again, Forza Horizon. If you want to play the old games, you gotta have a disc. But the thing is, publishers pretty much have to take the games down, and they kind of do own that. So most of the games you guys actually have digitally can literally be taken away at almost any moment, which is something that's kind of wild. Now, if you obviously own the game, sure, you probably still can have it, but also there's really nothing stopping them from actually taking the games from you, even if you have them, or simply turning them off. I mean, heck, on PlayStation, if you end up getting a game from PlayStation Plus, you literally have to have Plus to play the game, bro. I was checking that out one time and I went, wait, for me to log on to this game and play it, my Plus has to work. Which, if there's something wrong with the PSN network, you will not be able to play some of the games if your internet's not working or something happens. You can't touch any of these games. Now, we all do know some of the games with the disc have like the internet that's required to download. But if you guys are on the PlayStation, I did end up seeing, I'm also on the PlayStation by the way, that a lot of people have been getting rid of their PlayStation Plus memberships because of everything about the digital thing that they are doing. I mean, heck, bro, companies are mad trolling PlayStation over this because we all do know what this is going to lead to in the future. I mean, heck, you want to play an old game and you never had a chance, you see it on the store, you see it somewhere, you will have no way to play that game if something happens and they have to get rid of it. Or it's simply along the lines of, okay, well, because of the licensing or certain things, this game will be shutting down January of 2028 or something like that. So there will be no way to play that game at all. And to be real, guys, there's a lot of different things with this that kind of gets a tad annoying and also upsetting, as right now a lot of people look at this like, man, people aren't even buying games anymore and discs and all that. And the funny part is, you might say that now, but if you ever wanted to play an old game, or maybe you in the future, which we all do know this is probably like 5+ years in the future, and who knows what will happen with the PS6 if that thing even has a disc drive, which means you'll have to have a PS5 with a disc drive. Oh man, that's going to cause some interesting things, because that means all the games you have on PS4 and 5 means the 6 will not be able to play them at all, which again is kind of annoying, bro. You'll have to keep your old console for that, which is also destroying a lot of things for the future generation of gaming. I mean, you can't go stumble across an old game or something and play it. Every game is on the console itself. They could basically get rid of them whenever they want, if they did want to. If something happens, the game probably has to get delisted, which most racing games eventually will. I mean, heck, bro, Forza Horizon 5 will eventually be delisted on PlayStation 5, right? There is no way to get that game on a disc anywhere, so people who have it now are good. They have the game, they can play it, right? The thing is, though, once that game is removed, any future player will never be able to play Forza Horizon 5. It will not even be possible. No disc, nothing. It's kind of funny how Forza Horizon 5 is almost perfect in this aspect, as it's only a digital game on the PlayStation. Once the game is delisted, you have it, you could play it still, obviously. But if you don't have it, you are basically cooked. And what's interesting though is Forza is a really good example with that on the PlayStation, as it's fully digital only. They never made a disc for it, guys. So in the future, there will be no way to play that game on PlayStation. Pretty interesting. But not only that though, you all did also see how PS3 and the Vita are getting their online stores completely closed down, by the way, which means the game's PlayStation stores will pretty much be gone. We all do know in the future, PS4 will end up having the same thing. PS5, obviously, a long time down the road, but it will still end up being a thing. So on the PS3 and all that, if you have the discs and all that, you could still play the games. But imagine only having the digital games there and you can never go onto the store and get any of them again. So that will end up locking out all of those games for people. Then if you don't have the discs for them, the games are pretty much lost forever, man. And honestly, I really am wondering how this is going to play out with PlayStation, because a lot of people have been like, what are y'all doing? I'm selling my PlayStation. I'm done. I'm pretty much never going to play a PlayStation again, or I've had them for 20 years. I'm over it. This is not the route to take. And the insane part is, I'm almost betting Xbox might end up doing something similar. If they don't, I will genuinely be very surprised, guys. But you know what? Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. What do you guys think about what PlayStation is doing with the entire full-on digital-only thing? To be real, I do not see this playing out very well, and it basically hurts every part of the industry even more. Not only for the current gamers, but the future gamers as well. And pretty much playing older games is pretty much going to be non-existent, because some of them can go up in price and a lot of things will end up changing, and definitely not for the better. But not having access to any of these older games basically ever, because there is not a disc copy for them, is something I don't think anybody wants to hear. Now, if you are buying the games digitally, sure, and if you might not be buying disc copies, but eventually I think everybody will notice how bad this actually is.